What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here, and I am talking to another contestant going into Ascendance Live Season 3 house. Sarah, what is up? How are you?
Oh, how's it going?
Going good. Excited to talk to you and ask you some questions about Ascendance and yourself in general. So, I'm going to start off with a real open-ended one, and that is Sarah, I want you to describe your perfect day, whatever that means to you. Who are you spending it with? What are you doing? That kind of stuff.
All right. My perfect day would certainly not involve work. I think it would probably involve laying on a beach somewhere with my boyfriend, drinking pina coladas, and just not giving a care.
Pina coladas, you're talking my language there.
Pina coladas, my go-to drink.
Nice, nice. That's my frozen drink of choice
Well, I
for sure.
should I should say that I don't typically walk into a bar and like give me a pina colada because I don't think very many of them would be able to fulfill that order.
Yeah, probably not. So it's interesting. My next question, I'll be interested to hear your answer. Who from a past season of Ascendance Live would you like to see in this game, or who would you work with from a past season?
So I feel like I should answer Jake Sparks, my brother who played season two. But after watching season two, I think Tashera would probably be my top pick because I just thought that she played a really like level-headed game. She seemed like she was working with a lot of different people and a lot of different people respected her. So I think if I were to look for an ally, I would want her.
Taisha, you mean?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Taisha.
Taisha. What did
Yes.
I say? Tashera?
I
Taisha,
don't
yes.
know what you said. Yeah, yeah,
Taisha.
yeah. Great choice. Great choice. That was my number one draft pick last season.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. Um, say that number one, not Taisha, but say your number one ally in this game that you're about to go play is in trouble early. Say the first couple of rounds. Are you gonna try to flip the vote and save that person? Um, or would you take a step back and let that person get eliminated?
I want to say I would save the person, but I would probably take a step back and just let them take the boot. I wouldn't want to rock up the house too much on, that early on. So I'm not afraid to throw people under the bus if it helps get me forward.
We got it. Sometimes we got to do it,
Right.
What is a challenge that you would dominate at?
I'm usually pretty good with puzzles. So anything that involves like word unscrambling or an actual literal puzzle, things like that, I think I would do quite well in. I say that, but sometimes I flop under pressure. So we'll see.
Sometimes the atmosphere just brings out, a
Yeah.
little bit of nerves, but hell, we'll see. Um, so a big factor in Ascendance Live is sleep in general. How many hours can you efficiently operate on?
Efficiently, like I could still get work done and like stay level headed would probably be 4 to 6 hours, but I actually suffer from it's a literal diagnosis called chronic fatigue. So I can sleep anytime, anywhere for up to like 18 or 20 hours at a time if I like let myself. So while I love sleep, I am capable of pushing it off in order to do what I need to do for the game.
So you're saying you could work on 4 to 6 hours.
I think I could. I say that now. By the end of the week, if I'm still in it, I think it we'll see that I get depleted faster. But I think 4 to 6 hours I could work with.
Okay, okay, that's a good benchmark there, I would say. What is your opinion on throwing a vote?
As in like throw like voting for someone just to to not be part of whoever's gonna get voted out. Is that what you mean?
It could be a hinky vote. It could be, it could be anything. It could be throwing a vote, a rando vote. I guess I'm more so saying like a hinky vote.
Okay. I'm fine with it. I think it's an opportunity to stir up the pot. I love when I watch seasons of any show where there everyone's like, who voted for me? Who was this random vote? And I would 100% be willing to do it, and I would 100% be willing to not own up to it being my vote. So I'm up to for the drama and stirring up the pot.
What happens if the hinky vote's on you?
I would be less thrilled about it if that's the case. But if it's just like a one-off thing, I'd probably be able to brush it off and just assume it was someone else doing the same tactic that I would consider doing. So
Would you try to find that person, or would you you said you would brush it off, you think?
I think I would brush it off. If it was just like a single vote, I don't think I would put too much stock into it. I think we see people panic when their name gets even one vote sometimes, but I think if it's only one, you're probably not looking at um, future votes like that unless you do something between then and the next vote. But generally speaking, if it was just one vote, I don't think I would freak out too much.
Yeah. I want to give you another scenario here. And I want to start off by saying congratulations. You just won the final three competition of the season. Um, so you're tasked with choosing who you're going to take to the finale. And I'm going to give you some options here. So the first option is your number one ally in the game, but they're going to be pretty tough to beat in the end. So your second option is somebody that you really didn't like, but that person you probably have a better chance at winning in the finale against. Who would you take?
That's such a tough call. I feel like I would probably take the person that I was an ally with, not necessarily because I was an ally, but to show the people voting for me that I'm not afraid to put my game up against somebody else's game that played really well. So I would almost think that I would probably pick the person who I thought played the better game, only because I could then compare it to my game and show how, while they played a great game, mine was even better than theirs was, as opposed to picking the easy, what would appear to be the easy person to vote against.
So you would take your ally even though
I think so,
might
but I
be
don't necessarily think it would be because they're my ally.
right. It
So
just so happened to be. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So in the game of Ascendance, powers, advantages, they're out there. Are you going to be actively looking for those?
I will. If I do try to look for one, I don't want anyone to know about any powers I find. So I think if I do come across any, I don't think I would share it. And I think if it came across one where it would require some type of maneuvering for me to get it, I would try to wait until there's an opportunity where no one's around to see it. Because I don't want to paint an even bigger target on my back by someone seeing me looking or seeing me finding a power.
What if there's no way for you to get the power without somebody looking at, like seeing you do it?
Yeah, at that point, I probably would still do it because I'd rather have the advantage than not. And then I would just hope that whoever saw it is someone I can work with and maybe use it as a piece of like trust and goodwill to say, okay, this is this is our power, even though I possess it, and we'll determine what it is used for. But kind of using it as an opportunity to create an ally instead of someone who will think that it's a threat against them.
Right. So the game's pretty close now at this point that we're talking. What have you been doing to prepare?
Honestly, not a whole lot other than like watching past seasons. I've been pretty slammed at work, so I haven't been able to put too much towards my thought process of how I want to go into the game. And part of it too, I think you can only plan so much, but until you know who you're playing with and their personalities, I mean, that's really what Ascendance comes down to. So it's mostly just worrying is what I'm doing as to who I'll be playing with. And then hopefully when I get there and I see who my competitors are, I'll kick it into gear and figure out a game plan.
Yeah, sometimes the best preparation is no preparation, as I've been told. I don't
I
know.
hope that's the case here.
What's one thing that you want to accomplish with this experience?
I don't want to be the first boot. If I make it past through the first vote, I will consider that a victory for me.
How big is it for you to like just beat Jake's placement? Does that matter to you?
Oh, that would be great too. Yes, Jake and I are very competitive. Like when we had to take like the ACTs for college and stuff, I took mine an extra time just to get a higher score because I tied his score
Wow.
the first time. So yeah, if I could beat Jake's placement, that would be fantastic. And he went out a little early, so there's a chance I could if I can just keep my head down through the first few rounds.
How fun would it be if you win the game? How fun would the Thanksgiving conversation
Oh,
be?
that would be so fun. Anytime I do better at Jake, particularly if it means that I like won the whole thing, he wouldn't hear the end of it.
I love that. It's the same with my siblings. We always
Yeah.
try to one up each other.
A healthy
Um,
dose of competitiveness is good.
yes, of course. Sarah, is there anything else interesting that you want to tell me or the viewers?
I don't think so. I will say there was I did have some debate about, so I'm an attorney, and I had some debate about whether or not I lie about my profession because I know that we get labeled a certain type of way. So I'm still deciding going into this game, and maybe I'll make the call come this when we're introducing ourselves to everybody, whether or not I share what I do for work or not, or if I make up occupation.
Have you thought about what you would say in place of an attorney?
I have um I've thought about more saying like, oh, I'm just still in school and doing like retail stuff because I want to be able to draw from something that I at least have knowledge on. So all through college and law school, I was doing retail type jobs. So I think if I said like, oh, I was, in business school or some type of getting a master's in something and go and working retail, I think I could sell that better because it's something that I have familiarity with. So
Yeah, you don't want to give away, you don't want to say like you're a carpenter or
right, and then
something.
can't hold a hammer. Right.
Yeah. Um, well, I will be interested to see what you end up doing with that. But the game's coming up and I can't wait to watch, how it pans out. And thank you so much for joining me this evening on the interview.
Yes, thank you.